Yeah, first of all, congratulations to the captain and coach. Rahul, since the time you took over this team, the junior team and A team, you always talked about process. And they have delivered actually. The results have come, they won the World Cup. What kind of satisfaction do you get actually in this?
Yeah, firstly, thank you. Thanks a lot. I think the real satisfaction, in my opinion, isn't actually, like you said, the whole process that was followed over the last 14, 16 months. I think just the whole preparation and the planning that has gone into, I wouldn't say just necessarily this World Cup, but just the planning and preparation of developing young under-19 players over the last 14, 16 months, I think is something that I think is a good process that we put in place. And like with everything else, you've got to keep refining it and keep getting better at it and keep improving on that process. So really, for my thing, really happy for this 15 boys that get to wear a World Cup medal, get to win a World Cup, because I think they thoroughly deserve it. They've put in a lot of hard work. There's been a lot of sacrifices over the last year by all of them, and just the way that they played in the World Cup, the way that they gelled as a unit. I think things like that give you a lot of satisfaction. The quality of cricket that they played, the way they executed, was absolutely brilliant, even under pressure. When we found ourselves under pressure in a few games, we always found people who stood up and delivered. I think these are the kind of things that give you a lot of satisfaction. Also, I think, I think just the work put in by the support staff, the quality of people that we had in our support staff here was absolutely brilliant. So that was, again, something that, gives me great satisfaction that we put together a really good team of people that helped these boys. Just the support that we got even from just people outside of it, selectors, the NCA. I think all of it, I think, was great teamwork. The work from the guys behind the scenes at the BCCI in setting up games, setting up series. So I think when you have a tournament win like this and when you get a cup like this, I think it's really a good reflection on a lot of the teamwork and a lot of stuff that happens, and I think that gives me a lot of satisfaction.
Rahul, just one more question. You have played at this level also before you came into national team and all. Can you tell us, after 25 years, these under-19 boys, are they in a better position to understand the game better than what you were there actually? Because of so many things, I've had the exposure, the television, they get a chance to play so much, the support staff and all.
Yeah, I think, you can't even compare generations. It's just, I mean, I was in the World Cup when I was playing under-19. I remember I just played one, I think, under-19 series. We played 2 test matches against a visiting New Zealand team. That came here just towards the end of my under-19 sort of years. I was just sort of 18, 19, and that was it really. There was there wasn't a lot of cricket compared to this. The quality of cricket that these boys play, the quantity of cricket that these boys play is incomparable. The kind of support staff, the kind of professionalism and help that these boys have got is much better than, honestly, what I got when I first played for India. Without a doubt. So. That's how far things have changed. There's no doubt that this generation of players is, extremely fit. They're extremely, sort of aggressive. They play a really good positive brand of cricket. They're just more worldly wise in a lot of ways than I think we were. A lot more confident as well. And, I think that's really good signs of sort of exposure and opportunities that they've been given.
राहुल आणि पृथ्वी दोघांचंही अभिनंदन. पृथ्वी, माझा प्रश्न तुला आहे. इंडिव्हिज्युअल अचिव्हमेंटच्या अनेक मोमेंट्स तुझ्या लाईफमध्ये आल्या. 28 नोव्हेंबर 2013 546ची इनिंग अगेन्स्ट सेंट फ्रान्सिस DICC. रणजी डेब्यूमध्ये 100, दुलीप डेब्यूमध्ये 100. वर्ल्ड कप विन किती डिफरंट आहे आणि किती जास्त आनंद आहे त्याचा, कारण इट्स अ टीम इव्हेंट?
खूप आनंद होतो आहे, कारण की जेव्हा आपण भारतासाठी खेळायला जातो खूप प्राऊड फिलिंग होतं. आणि स्कूल मॅचेस खूप खेळल्या आम्ही, तिकडे खूप रन केलं. मग रणजी ट्रॉफी, 16 स्टेट, 19 स्टेट रणजी ट्रॉफी. पण जेव्हा आपण इंडियासाठी रिप्रेझेंट करतो तेव्हा ते अलग म्हणजे डिफरंट फिलिंग असतं. तर ऑब्व्हियसली खूप चांगलं वाटतं आहे, खूप प्राऊड आहे मला. आणि परत वर्ल्ड कप आम्ही परत आणलं आहे भारतासाठी. आणि सगळ्यांनी खूप मेहनत केलेली आहे. लास्ट मोर दॅन 1 year सगळ्यांनी खूप मेहनत केली आहे. प्रॅक्टिस मॅचेस, प्रॅक्टिस मॅचेसमध्ये. आणि सगळे सपोर्ट स्टाफ पासून सगळे मुलं, लाईक 15 बॉईज, सगळे म्हणजे लास्ट इयरपासून खूप मेहनत करत आहेत ते आणि त्याचाच रिझल्ट आम्हाला या वर्ल्ड कपमध्ये जसं प्लॅन केलेलं जसं मीटिंग्समध्ये प्लॅन करत होतो आम्ही स्ट्रॅटेजीज आणि तेच होत होता आणि चांगलं एक्झिक्यूट केला ग्राउंडवर जाऊन ते आणि म्हणून आय थिंक बिकॉज ऑफ ऑल दोज थिंग आम्हाला वर्ल्ड कप जिंकायला मिळालं.
Till you guys left, these guys were promising guys. Now that they're back, they're all achievers. They're being faced all around by everyone. As in, what can be or should be done in order to help them make the transition better?
Yeah, so it's. Oops, sorry. So I think one of the things that these boys, I think the great thing about this World Cup is that they've had, so many experiences. I think they've got, as kids, they've had experiences that, hopefully should hold them in good stead for a lifetime. The fact of playing in an ICC tournament like it, in a high-pressure tournament, televised games, actually going up to the final and actually playing a high-pressure final. And, some of the boys did comment to me that the final did feel different to them than in some of the other games, and I kind of showed, I don't think we played our number one game in the final. We played it maybe in the semi-finals and in the quarterfinals, but, we got the result we needed. But, just the fact that they played a final, meant that that's an experience for them. Just the fact that they came to Bombay airport and they saw the excitement and the noise and the people around them, I think is another experience. Coming here and fronting up to you guys and seeing this is another experience for them. So I'm glad that they've had the opportunity, to have these experiences and they've had the chance to have these extra experiences because they won. So that's really for me, from my point of view, the plus point. But like you rightly said, I mean, I think the challenges and the hard work really start from here. We've had a couple of conversations with them about it. It was actually quite interesting for me, while we were in the World Cup, they would show actually the reruns of some of the earlier finals. And they showed the rerun of the 2012 final. And as I was watching the rerun of the 2012 final, I just sort of went back onto the web and started checking up on a few things. And it was interesting because the 2012 final featured India and Australia. The result of the final will tell you that India beat Australia. 6 years down the line, only one of those boys has played a couple of one-day games for India. 4 or 5 of the Australians have gone on to play for Australia. More of their guys have played first-class cricket. The debatable point is who actually won that final, if you look back 6 years later, right? So I think those are interesting chats to have, those are conversations to have. And like I said, I hope that, from this bunch of boys, the talent is there, the ability is there. It's just a question of them now being, managed carefully, for them managing themselves, learning how to deal with, I think, the pressure and, like you said, the expectation that's going to come with now being Indian under-19 champions, being known players. It's not going to be that easy for them, at least for a short period of time, to play domestic cricket, without somebody talking about this performance or highlighting this performance or, the expectations that come with this. So I think that's again a good learning and a good challenge. But like you rightly said, the hard work begins for them, and I think it begins for us as well as to how do we, manage these boys over the next few years. That even if a lot of them don't go on to play for India, which it can happen. It's not easy to get into the Indian side. It depends on the number of people who are there. If the guys who are performing, it's difficult to break in at times. But at least if they go on to have successful first-class cricketers, and then from there on in, it becomes a stepping stone into international cricket.
Under-19 cricket in India to play in the Kuch Bihar Trophy and other. So do you think that they should still be playing under-19 cricket after this, or should they just now be focusing on first-class cricket and making transition to their domestic?
Good. Look, I think this is probably an answer that, I mean, I shouldn't I can give a personal view on. It's not necessarily the decision on whether they should be play or should be selected is obviously a BCCI decision. It will be an official decision. My view on this is actually quite well known and is quite clear. I feel that once boys are good enough, they need to go on and play men's cricket, especially the boys who are playing first-class cricket already. I mean, we've seen that with the last year's bunch of boys who could have been eligible for this World Cup, whether it was Washington, Mahipal, I think there was Arman, I think there was one or two other. I think there were 5 boys from the last World Cup. But we made a conscious decision not to pick them for this World Cup because, I genuinely felt that they'd be better off playing under-23 cricket and, senior men's cricket. Having some of these boys come back, and like you said, there are few of them who could possibly come back and play the next World Cup, will probably be good for the under-19 team, and it will be maybe make our chances of winning a World Cup better. But I'm not sure it's the best thing for the boys themselves, and in the long run for Indian cricket, because one or two of them, without mentioning their names, and I think we might need to look at this on a case-to-case basis. There might be some boys who still will actually benefit playing in under-19 and might be a bit young and still maybe not breaking into their first-class sides, so they might actually benefit from playing here. But there's some boys who are already in their first-class teams. They already played Ranji Trophy in this group, who are eligible next year. And my wish is for them to play at that level, even if they have a couple of tough years, and if they fail, I think they'll be better off for it than coming here and playing at an under-19 level, which they're clearly too good for. But again, that's not my decision. That's just my view. Okay.
This question is to Prithvi. Prithvi, we all know your struggle from the initial days. Like now, you're the captain of a World Cup team. What message will you give to a boy who's born and brought up in a humble background and who's not from the mainstream city? Like you also come from Virar.
I think it was not a, it was really difficult journey for me, starting where I used to live in Virar. So I think all credit to my dad, because he was the only one to take me all over. He used to take me for the matches, for practices. It was far away from my home where I used to stay in Virar. It used to take like 2 hours, 2-3 hours journey from the train as well. So it was really difficult for me, in those days when I used to travel by trains and all those things. But I think, if you work hard for something, so I think in this past 2-3 years, working hard for this to play for under-19 cricket India and becoming the World Cup captain, I think it's really feels much. I can't really express myself, but I'm really happy, and thanks to everyone for supporting me, giving me blessings, and thank you to BCCI for, and thanks to selector as well, keeping me a trust and giving this opportunity to captain the Indian side. So thank you to everyone. Yeah.
The 5 first-class hundreds that you've had, has that kind of dictated your approach towards the game, especially when you were leading the team in the tournament?
I think it's all about experience. When you start play when you are 7 or 8 year old, you start playing school level cricket and score runs over there. So my coaches from school level to till now, Rahul Dravid. So I think all those experience, small things makes difference in your career, in your batting especially. So obviously when you go to a higher level, you get those experience with your senior players, sharing the dressing room with the senior players. So you get some things from them, some small things which will help you in the upcoming season or upcoming any tournament. So I think all those things really mattered me in my life especially, to score runs in the Ranji Trophy or maybe in the under-19 thing. So it really mattered. Yeah.
हाय राहुल सर, तो मेरा सवाल ये है कि जो इंडिया पाकिस्तान का मैच था सेमीफाइनल था, तो आपने बच्चों का जो क्या टेक्निक सिखाई कि हाई प्रेशर मैच है, किस तरह पुल डाउन होना है, कुछ बता सकते हैं आप मैच से पहले?
क्या था यार मुझे याद I don't even कुछ नहीं, हम लोगों ने एक्चुअली उस मैच को कुछ डिफरेंट ट्रीट ही नहीं किया. हम लोगों की जो प्रिपरेशन थी, हर मैच के लिए हम एक्चुअली फोकस ये नहीं कर रहे थे कि किसके खिलाफ खेल रहे हैं हम लोग. शायद पापा न्यूगिनी हो या पाकिस्तान हो या बांग्लादेश हो या कोई भी टीम हो, एक हम लोगों की जो प्रिपरेशन थी, जो प्लानिंग थी, वो कभी चेंज नहीं हुई. ऐसा नहीं कि हम लोगों ने ज़्यादा बड़ा टीम मीटिंग रखा पाकिस्तान के पहले और कम टीम मीटिंग रखा बांग्लादेश के पहले. ऐसी बात नहीं थी. हम लोगों ने, हमारी जो प्रोसेस और हमारी जो प्लानिंग थी वो सेम थी, वो अलग कुछ चेंज नहीं थी पाकिस्तान मैच के लिए. हाँ, ज़रूर लड़कों को ज़रूर ये पता था कि इंडिया पाकिस्तान का जो मैच होता है वो लोगों के लिए ज़्यादा लोग देखते हैं, ऐसी बात है. और एक अच्छी एक्सपीरियंस भी मिली लड़कों को, क्योंकि एक साल में जो ये लड़के एक साथ खेले हैं, 2 एशिया कप खेले हम लोग, पर उसमें पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ खेलने को मौका नहीं मिला. ऐसा हुआ ड्रॉ में हम लोग हार गए या पाकिस्तान हार गई, ऐसा कुछ हुआ कि हम लोगों को एक्चुअली एक साथ खेलने को मिला ही नहीं इसमें. तो एक्चुअली मेरे को एक बड़ी खुशी की बात थी कि एक्चुअली इन लोगों को वो भी एक एक्सपीरियंस मिल गया कि इंडिया पाकिस्तान का गेम क्या होता है, क्योंकि अगर इसके बाद ये अंडर 19 छोड़ के जाएंगे और कहीं और उनको खेलने का मौका मिलेगा इंडिया पाकिस्तान का, तो एक्चुअली उनको एक तो आइडिया होगा कि उन्होंने एक मैच भी खेला है, ज़रूर वो मेंस मैच जैसा नहीं है, पर एटलीस्ट अंडर 19 लेवल पे एक इंडिया पाकिस्तान की जो हाइप होती है, थोड़ी बहुत तो हाइप पहुंचती है उन लोगों को, क्योंकि हमारे सब लड़के तो स्पेशलिस्ट हैं अभी सोशल मीडिया और ये हमारे इसमें, तो बहुत जो सो दे नो अ लॉट ऑफ स्टफ, इंफॉर्मेशन ज़्यादा होती है उनके पास हमसे भी, पर यू नो जैसे उन लोगों हमारे लड़कों ने हैंडल किया उस मैच को, यू नो बड़ी दाद देनी होगी उनको, बहुत जो हम लोगों ने खेला उस मैच को, आई थिंक जो क्वालिटी ऑफ क्रिकेट खेली उस मैच में, बैटिंग में भी थोड़ा प्रेशर में थे हम, फिर एक अच्छी पार्टनरशिप हुई शुभमन और अनुकूल के बीच में, अच्छी शुरुआत हुई थी, थोड़े विकेट खो गए हमारे, और जो इंटेंसिटी हम लोगों ने दिखाई फील्ड में, एंड हमने कोई भी मौका उनको नहीं दिया वापस आने का गेम में, उसको देख के मुझे बड़ी खुशी हुई कि उस प्रेशर गेम को उन्होंने बहुत अच्छी तरीके से हैंडल किया.
For last couple of years and also coaching India A team for as many years. So which team is the most challenging as far as the handling them or coaching them is concerned?
I think I think both the teams are great fun to work with. You know, they're just different stages in their careers. It's just a different. You have to approach it slightly differently. I mean, in the under 19 level, sometimes you are getting a little bit more involved in everything, in small things. Sometimes you're, sort of, as much as I like to be a coach who tries to give players as much freedom as possible and let them make as many decisions as they possibly can, sometimes at the under 19 level, you just have to intervene a little bit more because they expect that little bit of intervention from you. Also in the under 19, I think sometimes you're building up to a tournament. It's a build up to a particular tournament. So the planning, the way we prepare for it through the year is sometimes, we'll pick some players, we keep rotating the players, we play different tournaments just to try and see the different talent available and giving everyone, not only for us to see the talent, but to also give them enough opportunities to, stake a claim for finally the World Cup in 2 years' time. A team is slightly different. The A team is really it's mostly guys who have performed in the domestic season, some of them are actually India players who come back and play, on an A tour if sort of the selectors want to have another look at them. So with them, it's a little bit more almost, you're talking a little bit more on the mental side of the game. You're sort of talking about, trying to give them the best chance to actually, put in a really good performance on the A tour and catch the attention of the selectors. So I think I think both are just slightly different, but equally challenging, and I really enjoy doing both of them.
कर रही थी पाकिस्तान के सामने जीतना, तब आपका एक गेस्चर था कि आप पाकिस्तान के ड्रेसिंग रूम में गए थे, उनके प्लेयर्स से मिले थे. ये अपने आप में इन बच्चों के लिए कितना बड़ा एक मैसेज देता है, और वो गेस्चर को बच्चे किस तरह से देखते हैं?
नहीं, मैं उनके ड्रेसिंग रूम में नहीं गया था. I met their, I think they had a very talented left arm fast bowler. I thought he bowled quite well in the tournament. So I just congratulated him. I met him outside their dressing room and just congratulated him and said, well done in the tournament. It's nice as a coach. I think it's exciting to see, good talent. I think we had some great talent. They were very appreciative of our, of our cricketers as well. I think their coaches, mentioned to me so many times that, that there's a standard of cricket that we have seen you boys play is a benchmark for a lot of us. So it was a really, they were very effusive in their praise, and I also acknowledge the fact that, they had some very good talent as well.
पृथ्वी, आपके लिए भी सवाल.
They're very unrelated things, I mean, it's not lifting the World Cup is not a pain for me anymore. I've long since, retired, man. I don't carry around some, it's not like a pain or something for me, honestly. I don't even think about it, my cricket career is over. I've gone and done with it. I've had, I always say, I've been around a long time, and I've had disappointments in my career, and not only not lifting a World Cup, I've had many disappointments in my cricketing career. I've had many successes as well. I have no regrets, and so I don't walk around, in some pain or something. This is a completely different thing. I'm more happy for these boys. I mean, for them, it's as a coach, there's only so much you can control. And like I told them, and I think, one of my messages to them when we finished, and I think from the whole support staff, we said that we can only do so much. We can only prepare you well. We can only give you practice. We can do all the planning. We can set the thing up. We can prepare you for 12, 13, 14 months. But, knowing it as a player myself, in the end of the day, as a coach, you're very dependent on the performance of your players, on the execution of your players. I mean, we can make all the plans we want. If the bowlers don't execute on the day, and if they don't pitch the ball in the right areas, or the batsmen don't bat well, as a coach, once the game starts, there's very little you can do, right? So, from my perspective, I actually know the impact a coach can have. I'm realistic about the impact coaches have. I think it's an important role, don't get me wrong. I think this important role, not only me, but the whole support staff plays. But I think we are pretty realistic about the real impact that we have. And the credit is really these players. They're the ones who face up. They're the ones who stand up in pressure games. They're the ones who stood up and shown maturity beyond their years. They're the ones who've not relaxed at any stage in this tournament. They're the ones who've made the sacrifices. They're the ones who've actually put in the performances. They're the ones who've spent, hours in the gym. They're the ones who's pushed us to make them practice more. So the credit is entirely theirs, and I'm really happy for them.
We will have the final question now. Yes, Mia.
Rahul,
Hi.
Congratulations to you and
Thank you.
the team. It was a wonderful performance, an emphatic one. For us, one of the moments of the World Cup was, yes, they won the World Cup, but the way they were screaming behind you while you were being interviewed by Simon Dewar, and that kind of showed the relationship that you share with these kids. How difficult has it been for you as a coach to, keep up with this fast pace of today's generation? They're constantly on Instagram, Snapchat. Is there a curfew? Do you tell them, guys, the match tomorrow, no more, looking at your phones, no more chatting? How has that been like? These are the cricketers of modern era.
Yeah, I think you got to ask them, man. I don't think they're listening to me too much. Yeah, we had some loose curfews. Yeah, look, I think we had some kind of loose curfews. Sometimes the boys would follow it, sometimes they just skinch a bit, which is fine. They're teenagers, and I've been a teenager myself, and
How different are they as 19-year-olds?
No, like I said earlier, I think I answered that in one of the things that I answered that question to say that I think what's really impressed me is the level of maturity that these boys have, the exposure that they have, the confidence levels that this generation of players has. They're also faced with many different challenges. I think one of the things is in an age of media and Instagram and all of these things, that so many things that I'm not even aware of, or stuff that they're constantly on. I think and that's in its own way brings its own level of challenges. It brings its own level of scrutiny and media attention, and they're having to deal with it, and they're finding their own sort of ways in dealing with it. We do talk to them about it, and there were times when I had to come in and say once or twice that look, let's sort of not because I felt it was going out of hand, because especially I think that week during the IPL auction was a bit of a stressful week a little bit, because we have to be realistic about it. You have to understand that sometimes people's minds will go there, but I think credit to the boys that fine, we accepted the fact that they were going to be watching the IPL auction, or at least following it on whatever they follow it on. But once I was done, they came back to practice and they were switched on. So that was, I'd say, the only 2 or 3 days in which I was a little bit worried, but credit to them, they responded really well to that as well. But yeah, as far as keeping up with them, I'm not sure I'm keeping up with them.
Thank you, Rahul bhai. Thank you, Prithvi.
Thank you.
We will now have media interactions, but request everyone to be seated till we sort this out. Yes, thank you.
कैसा एक्सप्लेन आप लोग वर्ल्ड चैंपियंस हैं, वी आर वेरी प्राउड ऑफ यू, फर्स्ट ऑफ कांग्रेचुलेशन।
थैंक यू।
कैसा एक्सपीरियंस रहा है टीम के साथ में, कितना सहयोग रहा और अब मैन ऑफ द सीरीज?
हाँ, बहुत अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था हमारा यहाँ पे वर्ल्ड कप में, क्योंकि फ़र्स्ट टाइम मेरा ये ड्रीम था कि मैं वर्ल्ड कप खेलूँ, और मैंने वो यहाँ पे खेला तो बहुत अच्छी फीलिंग थी, और ऊपर से हम वर्ल्ड कप जीत कर आए, तो सबसे बेस्ट मोमेंट मेरे लिए वही था। और ऊपर से जो हमारे कोच राहुल द्रविड़ सर थे, तो उनके साथ ड्रेसिंग रूम और जो भी वो मीटिंग में बात बोलते थे, वो सब चीज़ शेयर करके बहुत अच्छा फील हुआ। पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ प्रेशर जो भी था वो द्रविड़ सर ने हमें पहले ही समझा दिया था, और बता दिया था कि तुम्हें इस चीज़ पे इतना फोकस नहीं करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, क्योंकि तुम अपनी परफॉर्म जो तुम अभी करते आ रहे हो उसी चीज़ पर फोकस करो, और ये चीज़ नहीं सोच के बस जो भी तुम अभी नेचुरल करते आ रहे हो उस चीज़ पे वो फोकस करो वैसे। वही बेंगलोर से हम प्रिपरेशन करते आ रहे थे, और नेपियर में भी हमारे मैचेस कराए, तो बहुत अच्छी प्रिपरेशन थी, और मुझे अपनी टीम और जो भी हमारे स्टाफ था सब पे ट्रस्ट था कि हम मैच ये वर्ल्ड कप जीत कर आएंगे। थैंक यू सर।
देखिए बहुत ही अच्छा लग रहा है कि वर्ल्ड कप जीते हम लोग, एक अंडर-19 वर्ल्ड कप जीते, देश को वर्ल्ड कप ला के दिए, और सब कोई सपोर्टिव था हम लोग के। हम लोग जब खेले थे बहुत मैसेज आ रहा था, बहुत मेरे व्हाट्सएप पे टेक्स्ट आ रहा था, तो सब लोग ने सपोर्ट किया। और मोस्टली ये टीम एफर्ट कहना चाहूँगा कि ऐसे एज अ टीम हम लोग जैसे दो महीने से रहे थे एक साथ, तो वो टीम एफर्ट बहुत काम में आया था वर्ल्ड कप जीतने के लिए। देखिए पूरी टीम एफर्ट थी, मैंने अभी पहले ही बताया, और राहुल सर, बहुत सारे कोचेस जितने भी सपोर्ट स्टाफ थे हम लोग के, उन लोग ने सारे बहुत मेहनत की हम लोग के ऊपर। लास्ट 2 महीना, लास्ट एक साल कह सकते हैं आप, क्योंकि एक साल लगातार हम लोग मैचेस खेले, इंडिया पे खेले, कभी एशिया कप खेलने गए, कभी इंग्लैंड के दौरे पे गए थे। तो एज अ टीम, एज अ यूनिट हम लोग खुद को बैकअप करते थे, और हम लोग बहुत कॉन्फिडेंट भी थे। वर्ल्ड कप जाने से पहले शायद हम लोग वर्ल्ड कप जीतते हैं। देखिए पाकिस्तान का अगेंस्ट प्रेशर तो था मैच के पहले, लेकिन जब मैच स्टार्ट हुआ उतना प्रेशर नहीं था, क्योंकि राहुल सर ने बताया था कि ऐसा नॉर्मल मैच देखो, हर कोई भी मैच खेल लो तुम तो। और इंडिया पाकिस्तान मैच की यही खासियत थी कि छोटा जब था तो टीवी पे देखता था इंडिया पाकिस्तान मैच, तो अभी खेलने को मौका मिला, तो अच्छा करने का और इच्छा बढ़ गई थी उस मैच पे।
Actually, it's a lifting a World Cup is a great feeling for us, and we are very happy for it. Preparation was really well. That's why we are able to lift the World Cup. Before going to World Cup, there were so many camps we have done. So, you can see the results for the preparation. And there was not much pressure because, it's not was like it's India versus Pakistan. It was just a game for us.
Last question is that what credit you will give for all the success to whom?
Actually, the Rahul Dravid sir itself, because the way he have controlled us and taught us, that's a great thing for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We will now start the press conference. Request everyone to come here. And Mr. Rahul Dravid and Mr. Prithvi Shaw will address the press conference first.